You are listening to episode 46 of the Confident Coaches podcast, the one where you stop judging what you do and don't do. Welcome to the Confident Coaches podcast, a place for creating the self-confidence you need to do your best work as a life coach. If you want to bring more boldness, more resilience, and more joy to your work, this is the place for you. I'm your host, Amy Latta. Let's dive in. Hello, my confident coaches. How's everybody doing out there? It's another pretty fabulous week around here for the Lattas. And, I've realized that I say this a lot. Hey, the Lattas having a great week. We're doing great. I kind of feel the need to ensure you we're not living in some sort of alternate universe or something. Like, we are living in the same 2020 that everyone else is. I've got a brand new high schooler, a brand new middle schooler. They're both trying to figure out how to operate, not just in a new school setting, but with all of these additional COVID precautions, which, none of us have ever done before. My husband is back at work after being fired earlier this year, but it's out of town. So he's actually gone 5 full days a week. He leaves on Sunday, doesn't come home until Friday. So I'm single parenting a tween and a teen, plus they still have outdoor sports happening and sports practices. So navigating all of that single parenting while, let's not hesitate to mention managing this global empire, Amy Latta Coaching, that's grossing $400,000 a year. And yet I'm still managing to get us fed and keep us clean and keeping, Lou, our chubby chihuahua, keeping him fed and alive. Like, it's no small task. There's a lot of stuff in that sea line. There could be more things in that sea line. There could be fewer things in that sea line, but there is a lot of circumstances going on. But it really is so true that everything comes down to how you think about it. Because there is no way that I could show up how I want to show up if it was over in a quarter, wishing that it was any different than it is, right? Like, there's no dang way. There's also no way that I could keep showing up week after week and not feel completely exhausted if I wasn't also paying attention to how I'm thinking and getting coached. So whatever ails you this week, just know I see you, but know this, that I know that the solutions to whatever problems you're struggling with, they do start in your mind, with your brain, for every area of your life. You got this. Believe that you can handle anything that comes your way. You are handling anything that's coming your way, and you totally got this. All right, my friends? So one of the things I know many of us are struggling with this year is judging what we're doing versus what other people are doing. And I kind of had my ass handed to me, not once, but twice last week on that very thing, which I love, because when I get my ass handed to me, when I get coached hard and I'm accepting of the coaching that's being offered to me, I always come up with brilliant ideas like this podcast. This podcast, I'm introducing the concept of neutral action, and how you can use neutral action to stop judging yourself for doing it wrong, whatever it is. Now, before we dive in, it's been a while. It's been at least a month or so since I've done any listener shout out. So I wanted to do a quick listener shout out. So many of you have left brilliant reviews on Apple Podcasts for the show. And this is my chance to give you all, the listeners, a shout out to say, hey, I see you and I hear you and thank you. So this is a review from Cat's Rule 67. It's always super important to remember, my friends, that your iTunes name is rarely your real name, and I will read it live on air unless you tell me who you are. But in this case, actually, this person did tell me who it is. So Cat's Rule 67 starts off with, hi, my name is Lisa. Yay. Hi, Lisa. This is what Lisa said. I want to thank you for explaining things in such a compassionate way. My brain is able to take your information, and I'm so grateful I found you. Your podcast on Little Quits especially resonated with me because I'm in the Life Coach School training program right now, and I see so many times I do this on a daily basis. I feel overwhelmed multiple times per day because I'm thinking, how will I ever help people? And then my little quits pop up, like checking Facebook and playing words with friends, and I need to go clean this or that, or I need to go organize this or that, or I need to go get on YouTube. I was seeing myself doing it, but after hearing the podcast, I can really see why. Thank you so much. This is a game changer for me. Observe and be kind is my new motto. Your style of delivery resonates with me, and I look forward to working with you in the near future. Lisa. Well, Lisa, first of all, thank you for leaving your real name so I can give you a shout out. So if that's you, Lisa, I see you and I hear you. Second, I love this for you, Lisa. Being able to hear an episode and apply what I'm sharing with you immediately to your own work to help you get unstuck in that moment. Like, that's how you do it. And make sure, Lisa, and anybody else that's out there, make sure you're getting emails from me. Sign up for the freebie offer at the end of this podcast so that you know when the doors open to the next mastermind. It's coming soon. Right now, I open a new one every other month, so there's always another one right around the corner. So don't miss it. Now, you out there listening, you want to shout out on the podcast, make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You can do this even if you're not an iPhone user. So either write on your iPhone, open up your Apple Podcast, look for the show right there. You can write a review right on your phone. If you are not an iPhone user, you can go to your browser and go to iTunes. You can open a free account and search for the podcast on iTunes on a browser and write a review there. All right, my friends? Okay. So today's podcast came out of me getting my butt coached, because coaches have coaches, right, my friends? And it was two different coaching sessions that led me to the same place of this concept of neutral action. So first of all, I am changing how you are going to apply and enroll for the Confident Coaches Mastermind. I'm eliminating the step of talking to me, where I individually have talked on the phone with every single member before that they have joined. And of course, my brain is resistant to that for a variety of reasons, to which my own mastermind coach, so this is the coach that I have, this is my business coach that I work with in my own mastermind. So not the one that I run, but the one that she runs. And she pointed out to me, she's like, you seem to think that your method is what's creating your results for you, i.e. the consult call is creating your results. And I was like, what? You mean the consult call is not what signs my clients? What? It's true. So I was thinking the action of the consult calls was responsible for signing so many clients, which is the entire reason why I need to move away from consult calls, because I don't have enough hours in a given month to talk to everybody individually. I need to solve this solution because the demand for the program is so high. And my brain keeps telling me that it's the method that's creating my results. And she was like, right off the top, why do you believe that your actions are creating your results as opposed to the thinking and the feeling that will drive the actions that will create the results, right? Like, so often we want to solve all our problems on the A line with actions, and any number of actions can create the same result that you want, because it's not the actions, it's your thinking and feeling. So my brain was already a little blah, blah, blah with that right there, right? So we were coaching a little bit more, and she noticed that I was talking about the $1 million coaches that I know. So I know many $1 million coaches. So I'm about a $500,000 coach, and I am scaling to $1 million within this next year. And as I was talking about that, as I was talking about them, she said, I just want to reflect back to you. What I'm hearing is it sounds like you think that they have something that you don't have. So she asked me, outside of the call, go figure out what that thing is you think that they have. And I'm glad that she said that, because I wasn't thinking that. But as soon as she said, I could feel it in my bones. Do you know that? That's what I mean by like being coachable, being open to being coached, as I could kind of feel what she was saying was true, even though I'd never considered it before. So I did some work on this in my own coaching, and then I took it to my one-on-one coach. Again, one of the ways that I'm getting through 2020 is I did hire just a general life coach to help me manage my mind. So I'm in my mastermind with my business coach that I've worked with for 3 years, and we keep, growing and scaling that way. But 2020 shit's happening. I need somebody to help manage my mind on being that single mom, but who's actually married. This is her husband and is doing all of the things, right? So I took this coaching to her. And as I was looking at it, what I realized is my brain kept telling me, I'm not disciplined. That was my thought. I'm not disciplined enough. That what those $1 million coaches have that I don't have is disciplined action. And of course, like a good coach, she was like, what does that even mean? So she had me define that. So of course, it was all A-line stuff. Disciplined action were really just actions that I am calling disciplined action. That's my thought, such as calendaring my time and then doing that thing exactly when I said I would do it. Things like that, those kind of actions where I'm very disciplined with my time. Again, that's a thought she had me define on the A-line what that specifically looked like. And then she said the thing that made my head blow up the second time. And that is, what if your actions are neutral? What? My actions are neutral. And as soon as she said it, I knew that it was true. And this tied into what my business coach had told me. My method does not create my results. So if I think I can't be $1 million coach until I have the same disciplined actions I'm thinking these coaches have, then I believe their actions are creating their results. Their method is creating their results. And I haven't adopted their method. Therefore, I'm not sure yet that I can actually create those results. Right? Like, here's this coaching over here, and here's this coaching over here. And then when they combine together, it's like kismet with explosion. It's a little mind-numbing at first, but I suddenly got it. I think I can't have what they have because I haven't adopted their method. But your method doesn't create your results because your method is just a series of actions, and your actions are neutral. And I don't have to think that. I don't have to judge my actions as disciplined or undisciplined or anything as they are now. First of all, let's be clear. My actions ain't too shabby. They have created $400,000 just in the past 12 months. Why am I judging them, first and foremost? And yet I do know that I'm doing it and you're probably doing it too, because week in and week out, I'm running 3 Confident Coaches Mastermind groups at a time. Like, I'm currently working with the May CCM, July CCM, and the September CCM classes. And all y'all are judging what you are and are not doing. This is what I coach the most on. I'm not doing enough. It should be more. It's not the right action. So-and-so is doing this and I'm not. Therefore, I will never have their success. I hear you out there because I hear it every single week inside our group calls. And your clients are doing this too, right? They think that they don't have their results or can't have their results because they don't have the right actions down. They haven't mastered the action. So teaching them about neutral action will change their results, and you can best teach them that by you learning neutral action for yourself. So what do I mean by neutral action? That is inherently understanding that your actions are neutral. They are neither good nor bad. Let me repeat that again. Your actions are neither good nor bad, no matter what the result is that you're creating. Now, your circumstances are neutral. Like, this is Model 101. This is how Amy coaches 101. I've done multiple podcasts on this. Your circumstances, the facts of your life, are neutral. Your thoughts about those circumstances won't be neutral. And those thoughts will create feelings in you. They will create positive feelings and they will create negative feelings. Now, those feelings, both positive and negative, will drive your action. Now, that action won't be positive or negative. That action won't be good or bad. It will just be what you do and what you don't do. And that combination of what you do and don't do will create your results. And your results are just as neutral as your actions. Now, here's how to test this. Here's how I know this is true. We know that actions are all neutral because when you're doing models on other people in your life, we put their actions in your circumstance line, right? So their actions are neutral. Other people's actions don't become good or bad until we decide to put thoughts on them. And it's the thoughts that aren't neutral, not the actions. You picking up where I'm throwing down here? The same goes for you and your actions. Actions are neutral. They don't become good or bad until you put a thought to them, until you attach thought to them. And this is how you can have models on models. I can't remember if I've done a podcast on that, but I definitely coach it inside CCM, where you can have a whole model and then you'll put the results or the actions of that model into a new circumstance line, and then you'll have thoughts about that, right? So there's what you do or what you don't do, and then there's your thoughts about that. And if you're judging your actions as either good or bad, then it's not the actions that are the problem. It's your thoughts about the actions that is the problem. So back to my example, that list of disciplined versus undisciplined actions, right? So like, oh, this is what $1 Million Coaches do. I'm defining them as disciplined. And I'm defining what I'm doing, not necessarily calendaring my time, writing a podcast episode while I'm sitting in the parking lot while my son's getting, soccer coaching, as opposed to an hour I might have earlier in the day. All of these things, I've defined those as undisciplined. I'm totally judging them because disciplined and undisciplined is a thought. Like, that's not actually a real thing in this world. That's just how I think about it. My thought was that I have to have their disciplined actions in order to create $1 million business. So I've been trying, this is what I've been doing. I've been trying to create a line of thinking to force an emotion that will then force those disciplined actions. You want to take a big guess as to how that's working out for me? Like, the word force should probably be your key indicator there, right? Because when I'm trying to force a set of right or good actions, I'm taking all my power away from myself, because I think that there's a how that will create what I want out there. And I totally lose sight of where my power lies. And my power lies in how I think. And is that thinking working for me? Like, this is really a tricky line of thinking, right? Like, let's take a look at this. We decide that there is a set of actions that will get us the results that we want. And then we try to figure out how to think our way there, when our solution is the other way around. What do I need to think about myself in order to believe I can achieve that goal? And then I want to go sit in that belief. And I want to explore my Gigi brain, my evolved woman brain, to own what I do know and what do I agree with and what am I sure of. And how will I think when I have achieved that goal? And how will I feel when I've achieved that goal and I've figured out the actions that will get me there? And then connect to that feeling in my body. And then make those decisions as to what to do, as to what the action should be. Only after I've done all of that mindset and brain work, then we're going to talk about what actions might get me there. Because what you do and what they do and what I do may not be the same thing. And that's okay. Like, my $1 million business and how I operate as a CEO may be different than those $1 million mentors and those $1 million coaches that I'm currently looking up to. And that right there, I'm looking up to them because I think they have something that I don't have, i.e. disciplined actions. And what if that's not true? What if I'm already $1 million coach and I'm just one thought away? What? What if you're already an $8K a month coach and you're just one thought away? What if there's nothing that I have that you don't have? And you're just one thought from achieving what you want because your actions are neutral. Or maybe it's also possible that my $1 million business might end up looking the same as theirs, but not because I'm going to force myself to get there, because I think those have to be the actions of creating $1 million business. That's not how I'm going to get there, by squeezing myself into a mold. But because I'm so clear in my belief that I am creating that $1 million coaching business and that I'm in alignment with that future version of me, that $1 million Amy, that I may adopt those actions from want, not from need. Do you see that really important energetic difference right there? I'm taking on those actions from a place of wanting to do it as opposed to needing to do it. Like, this is loving what is. Right? This is really what we're talking about when we're talking about neutral action. We're talking about loving what is. Whether it's getting you the result you want or not, loving it, because only from that place can you actually figure out what's going to work. So instead of trying to trick our brains into a set of actions we think we should be doing, we can instead realize that our actions are neutral and thus drop the judgment we have over what we do and don't do. Because when in judgment of our actions, we can't properly evaluate those actions. And evaluating what you're doing is way more important than what you're actually doing. Evaluating is where you're going to find what works. How you share your message, how you connect with others, how you stand out from the crowd. That can only come through evaluation. And if you're all up in your head about this is good and this is bad, you can't possibly evaluate it, right? Like if you already think, I'm gonna throw in a few different analogies here. Like if you already think that the student, and like if you're a teacher and you think you already are judging the student in front of you, you can't possibly evaluate how they're doing because your judgment is so clouded. Like you already assume everything they're going to do is great, or you already assume everything that they're going to do is good, and you can't possibly evaluate their work from that place. The same thing goes with your actions. If you are already deciding that your actions suck because it hasn't created the results that you want, then how can you possibly evaluate them to actually see if that's true or not? It's really hard to find what's working, what's not working in your thinking and your decision making and your implementation when you're judging the action ahead of time. Like it's the difference between it's not working and something's not working. And let's figure out what it is so I can either tweak it or try something else completely. Like the energetic difference between that, right? This isn't working. It's not working. Mine's broken. Versus something in here isn't working. I'm going to go solve it. I'm going to go figure it out. Because to be clear, you may be taking actions that don't create the result that you want, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. I know your brain's like, Amy, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Stay with me here. Just because you are taking actions, they may not be creating the results that you want, but that doesn't mean those actions are bad. They're just actions. Now, unless you're like murdering someone, the actions are pretty neutral. It's like eating cookies isn't bad. If you want to lose weight, eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is probably not going to get you the result that you want, but eating cookies is not inherently bad, right? You might need to tweak that thing. Probably need to go take a look at your thinking to figure out why you're eating cookies all of the time if that's the result that you want. We need to go in there and evaluate your diet, evaluate what foods work for you and which foods don't. May be different than it does for me, right? But when you're beating yourself up and you're focused on, I'm doing it wrong, I'm going too slow, I should be doing this and not doing that, I should copy what they're doing, how likely are you to actually change anything? Probably be on the couch eating cookies, right? You're probably like binging Netflix, eating cookies and not doing any of the evaluation, not doing anything that would actually move you forward. It's super hard to create change in actions when you're weighed down with that shame blanket. So keep your focus on neutral action. Drop the judgment of your actions. They are neither good nor bad. Focus instead on your belief in creating the result that you want. This is the core of what we do inside the Confident Coaches Mastermind is focus on learning how to sit in the belief of the result that you want to create and how to unbelieve those thoughts that are creating doubt for you that are preventing you from creating those results. And find what you love in what you are doing. Be able to evaluate it. What do you love about what you're doing? What don't you love about it? Find actions that work for you and work with your life as opposed to just copying what somebody else is doing. And then you can evaluate that work that you're taking and you can do it through that lens of neutrality, that lens of there's nothing inherently right or wrong. Let's see if this set of actions is getting me towards the result that I want. What small tweak might I make this week? Or do I need to scrap everything and try something entirely different? So much easier to do when you're coming from neutral action as opposed to judgment. And then you can make a decision about what you're going to do next and what you don't want to do. And you're going to make that decision because you want to, not because you should or because you need to. Neutral action is remembering your actions do not create your results or their results or her results or his results. It's remembering that your thoughts do. Your belief about you. Your belief you can do what you have not yet done. That, my friends, is your work. All right? I cannot wait to see what you create in this world. So remember, until next week, let's go do epic stuff. Friends, I am so excited to offer you a podcast-only treat. I am sharing with you the 5-day Unblock Your Confidence mini course. It is only available to the Confident Coaches podcast listeners, and the only way to get your hands on it is right here. Why do you need this course? Well, in this 5-day mini course, you will learn why it seems like you struggle with confidence when others don't, how to build trust in yourself, how to get over your fear of failure, how to stop caring so damn much what other people think, and the best thing you can do to unblock your confidence today. All of that in just 5 days. This is some of my best work waiting for you. Visit www.amylatta.com/unblock confidence to get yours. Again, that's amylatta.com/unblock confidence. Go now and get started today. Thanks so much for listening to the Confident Coaches podcast. I invite you to learn more. Come visit me at amylatta.com. And until next week, let's go do epic stuff.